Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the Cardboard Collection Agency. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing a breakdown of a budget slippery Bogles deck. This thing is super sweet. Basically, the whole concept of this deck is that you cast something like a slippery Bogle here, but I have a couple other options, and basically in case I don't draw him, because the big thing about it is the hexproof, right? So Slippery Bogle cannot be the target of spells or abilities your opponent controls. So for example, if I'm not able to cast him, we had Glade Clover Scout and Silhana Ledgewalker. They both, all three of them have hexproof. The only difference here is Silhana can't be blocked except by creatures with flying. And also, yes, she does have the hexproof. Now, the only other key creature in this deck is Heliod's Pilgrim. The whole point of Heliod's Pilgrim is that she helps me search out an enchantment if I need it. So this deck is basically all about these three creatures, Glade Clover, Slippery, and Silhana, and these here. So starting off here, we have a little bit of mana ramping. So we got Wild Growth. For 1 green, you enchant a land whenever the usual mana is drawn for target land. Wild Growth provides an extra green mana. So again, mana ramping, same thing here. We have Abundant Growth. Enchant land for 1 green. When Abundant Growth enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted land has tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Then, now the whole key to this deck. Enchantments, buffing up your creatures, making them gigantic. Now, mind you, I've made the Slippery Bogle a 15-15, 20-20, 30 plus. I've even made them up to 40 plus. It's insane. So then you have first here you have a Rancor. It's just 1 green. You enchant your creature. It gets +2/+0 and has trample. Trample is the really big deal here because obviously if your opponent starts casting creatures, and you only have 1 big creature, that's a little bit of a problem, right? Because they have the chump blocks. They may not be able to take your creature out, but they have the chump blocks available. So that's why you give it the trample, because then you got to think if they have a 4/4, but you got a stinking 20/20, but it has trample, like, boom, you're hitting for 16 direct damage. Okay, and then next up here, this is a budget version. There is a better card, but it was like relatively more expensive, but Cartouche of Solidarity is super cheap, and it's a 1 white enchantment that when it enters the battlefield, it creates a 1/1 white warrior creature token with vigilance, and it gets the creature +1/+1 in first strike. That was the big thing of the other card, was +1/+1 in first strike. Well, here you go, a 1 mana, much cheaper version. Next here, we have Armadillo Cloak. Super awesome. 1 white, 1 green, 3 of any color. Sorry, 1 white, 1 green, 1 of any color. Enchanted creature gets a +2/+2, has trample, again, just a secondary option because you really want to make sure the creature has trample, so that's why there's a couple different enchantments in here that do give it that. And then also, whenever enchanted creature deals damage, you gain that much life. In other words, lifelink. I'm assuming that's what that is. It's just lifelink, just with the extended text like they used to do back then, because they didn't have a lot of 1-word phrases for anything. Everything was like described. So instead of like creature being exiled, it would be the creature gets removed from play permanently, or just remove that creature from play. There was a lot of extended text for everything as opposed to singular words. So yep, lifelink, that is obviously a big freaking deal. I've sat there and gained like 20 life in a game, literally having commander life total in a 60 card game. It's pretty awesome. Then next here we have Ethereal Armor. Again, keeping the enchantments cheap. It's a 1 white. The big thing here, though, is its ability. Okay, so enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control and has first strike. So literally, I'll have 2-3 enchantments already stacked on here. Like, boom, that's another +2, +3, +3, on my creature now. He's even bigger. And then the biggest, like, this card is huge for this deck. Ancestral Mask. Okay, it's a 3-mana enchantment, but it gets +2/+2 for each other enchantment in play. So, like, this thing is insane when stacked. So, like, you'll have 2 enchantments on it. Let's say he's a 4/4 with trample. you know. Now he's going to get another +4/+4 because you already have 2 enchantments on, and so that means Ancestral Mask will double. Well, then imagine if you cast another Ancestral Mask, and like the creature just becomes gigantic, and it's essentially unkillable. You know, I believe it can only die due to combat damage. I think combat damage is how like it works with actually like the creature actually being able to die is combat damage. But yeah, and the thing is, I don't know why, but so consistently I always end up with like at least 2 Ancestral Masks in hand, or I at least relatively draw to them like well enough. But yeah, so essentially the whole idea that you're trying to do with this deck is, again, cast one of those 3 creatures, and then just sit there and stack enchantments. Again, the big thing is trample. You want to be able to attack past creatures. You want to be able to take out the creature and go past them with more damage. So yep, you take one of these 3. Doesn't really matter. The fact that Ciliana can't be blocked except by creatures with flying is actually really solid. Nice like upgrade. But yep, you just basically stack all the enchantments on top of it, make it massive, and then just swing for tons of damage. It's a really simple but really, really fun deck. And I built this thing for literally like $40, I think, for the entire thing. It, of course, can be altered to be more expensive if you're looking for something a little bit. I think a lot of the cards are just kind of like more mana efficient in some ways, or just overall stronger. But yeah, that is the Slippery Bogles deck. And again, I built this for cheap, $40. This deck is super fun, super consistent. I very rarely have too many problems with this. And like in deck testing, I had literally one game where I lost due to a factor of 1 turn. Like the next turn, I would have made the Slippery Bogle massive, and it would have just been over by that point. So again, super consistent, and I absolutely love this deck. So if you are interested, those are the cards that I did use. It is 4 copies of everything that I am aware of. I would have to double check that, but yeah, I believe it's 4 copies of everything plus the lands. It's basically a handful of plains, some dual lands, green-white, and then like 10 forests for the whole thing. But it's super fun. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you didn't, a thumbs down, and tell me down in the comments why you didn't enjoy the video. And I will see you all in the next video. Have a great day.